This video is for the permaculture course map design exercise. I've got 8 maps here in total. This map is of the property I am renting. I am renting space in the house, and then also this parcel number 2, to do whatever design I want here. I would do much more here, only due to circumstance, landlord doesn't want me to create and design stuff here as much. It is a rental, and I live here doing what I can. This is the base map, and in the base map, there are 4 main keys to look at. Here is where we have all the different trees. This is an oak tree over here. Here's a cypress tree, for example. The lines across in the boxes here is where there's concrete, and like the porch is all concrete, for example, the driveways are. The table is completely made out of concrete, and the a path going to it. And then also the borders here, this is chain link fence, which is here, right there, and then also in the front here as well. And of course I got my compass. This is north. Sun rises from this direction, sets in that direction. Here's my water map. The squiggly blue line arrows is water flowing off of roofs. The straight arrows is the water flowing off the concrete. And then of course, these are puddles all around. Potential watering harvesting potential where all these puddles are. Same for the hoop house. And then right now it's a hugelkultur hole instead of a mound. So there's a little bit of a puddle here as well. Here's my path map. The path I start to modify a little bit, as you'll see in the next few maps. And then this colored in space is actually paths. They're wood chipped paths, which I like a lot. So I'm going to keep with the wood chips. And yeah, that's my path map. Here we have the microclimate map. The red circle with the lines across indicates full sun, which is mainly in zone 2 and zone 3, which is good. Use that to my advantage for the designing. Full sun is in the parcel that I'm renting. The orange circle with the lines across is sun and shade. Since the sun rises from this direction, this area gets morning sun, but is shaded in the afternoon. This area gets afternoon sun and shaded in the morning. And then this is the main shade area because it's a big oak tree. So there's always shade under this tree. And then these squiggly red lines is humidity, which is what always happens in a hoop house or a greenhouse. And then since all my garden beds in zone 2 are mixed in with horse manure, it's particularly warm in the beds. And a good example of this is the peas I started from seeds about a month and a half ago, which was a little early, but since they were in the warmed manure beds, they are thriving till this day. They're doing great. And of course, the compost pile is always its own little microclimate of heat, a heat trapper. Here's my sector map, all the external activity showing itself onto the property. We've got the winds here, the purple wind symbols. It's a very open space back here, open green fields where people play soccer mainly. So a lot of wind comes in from these directions. The red squiggly lines is the indication of summer sun. The orange squiggly lines here and here and here indicate the winter sun. And then, yeah, that's my sector map. Here's the zone map. I colored in my zones to make it more visible. Zone 0 is the house. Everyone occupies the house, of course. Me and my 3 roommates. Zone 1 is if anyone's in the backyard, they mainly stay in this zone here. And Zone 2 is my main activity point. I visit Zone 2 daily to tend to the vegetable garden here. And then zone 3 is the lowest maintenance food forest with swales and fruit tree guilds as well. And zone 3 is also where the wildlife pond will be. Hugelkultur Mound is part of zone 2. Hoop House is part of zone 2, meaning I will occupy more time in those areas. Now here I modified the paths, as I said earlier. In these paths, I will have, there's swale paths, basically, that I'll cover with wood chips, and we'll have brims here and here, as you'll see on the master map. I extended the wildlife pond, originally making it this size, but then I decided to move it up to this size. And I also have, for the sketch map here, it's areas where I spend my time. My room, I spend a lot of time. Kitchen, I spend time. Bathroom, living room, concrete table. I'm usually sitting out here first thing when I go in the backyard. A lot of time in the hoop house. A lot of time right now in the center of the main keyhole garden bed, because that's where I have my peas. And then the compost pile, of course, and the oak tree, because who doesn't love to sit under an oak tree, right? Here is my master map. This is what I would show clients. I've got a list of different plants that I have in all the different garden beds. I also have the borders that indicate the different zones. Zone 0, as you can see, is purple. Zone 1 is orange, indicated here, indicated there. Zone 2 is the red borders here. And then zone 3 is blue on this side, basically. I have the wildlife pond here. Now, zone 1 is a bridge. Zone 1 basically connects function between zone 0 and zone 2 and 3. The main thing that will be in zone 1, other than maybe a little herb garden in front of the house, is weeping tile buried under the ground, connected to gutters on the house roof to collect rainwater and transfer it down to the wildlife pond. The wildlife pond with fish in it, I'll be able to collect fish fertilizer, use the pond water to fertilize the food forest and the keyhole garden beds and nitrogen fixing beds and the flower bed and the Hugelkultur Mound. And example of the food forest, it's all here. This is where the brims are of the swales. I will have avocado trees, lemon trees, peach trees, pear trees, pineapple, guava, walnut, tangerine, persimmons. I also have figs, alfalfa, mulberry, comfrey. The keyhole garden bed, I mainly want to have melons and lettuce. And that's keyhole garden bed number 1. Keyhole garden bed number 2, I'm going to focus on some tomatoes along with my onions, my garlic, my chives. I'll have mainly squash here, different kinds of squash. I'll probably throw some melons in here as well. I've got the peas in the center of the main keyhole garden bed. I've got peppers, tomatoes, and herbs like basil and oregano on this side and that side of the outer main keyhole garden bed. And in the back of the main keyhole garden bed, I want to do a bunch of corn, squash, and beans, which is an example of the Three Sisters, a guild of plants working together in symbiosis. These green circles indicate edible shrubs, edible hedges, such as blueberries, such as seaberry, natal plum, and the vines here. These are vines that I'd like to use to cover the chain link fence with, such as clementine, honeysuckle, wisteria, and a few more. In the flower bed, I have straw flower, Marvel of Peru, Cosmos, and Love in a Mist that I'll end up having, starting from seed here very soon. And where we see the colored polka dots, that's where I will have flowers in the flower bed, of course, in the 2 nitrogen fixing beds, and the hugelkultur mound as well. Hugelkultur mound itself, I want to basically have everything: peppers, tomatoes, onions, squash, and chives, onions, I said, garlic, and also nitrogen fixing trees such as golden chain tree and silk tree is what the purple tree symbol is here. And voila. That concludes the presentation of the map exercise for the Permafunk course. I hope this is doable. Have a great day.